78.6 FM, positive vibes with Winsome. Man, it's good to be back. Let me go ahead and straighten up. My collar looks a little off today. I'm keeping the music in my ear to keep me motivated. I like to play the music, and you guys can't hear, but I can. We talk about the things that motivate, encourage, and inspire you, right? We like to say educate, encourage, and inspire when it comes to my day job. Welcome back, man. It's been about 2 weeks since I've been on the show. I'm looking at my wingman over here, and she's just like, yeah, it's been a while since I've been on Positive Vibes with Winsome. But I was excited to be away because the last couple of weeks I've been able to spend time with family in the United States. And my big boy, my mini me, just graduated from the United States Air Force basic training. And it was great to see big man go through. Congratulations to him. I'm really excited to see him start his new chapter. I was looking at pictures of his story on this journey, and it's crazy how time flies by. You know, and they say time waits for no man. Time is not kind to anyone. It's what it is. But I will honestly tell you that as I sat there and went through the graduation process and saw how much pride and how much energy was in those young men and women as they were marching to their graduation points, and the look in their face, as I can tell, some of them were a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of excitement, the smiles as they went through their actual graduation parade. Everything was just amazing to witness, to watch, and to be a part of. And it took me back. Watching that took me back to 1998. Man, I'm dating myself. But it took me back to 1998 when it was my turn to go through that process, raise my hand, and say, I will serve and protect our great nation. And man, 20-something years later, to see one of my loved ones go through that same process, it's an incredible feeling, an incredible thing to be a part of and to witness. 78.6 FM, positive vibes with Winsome. What are we talking about today? Today I kind of wanted to regroup, right? It's been a few weeks since I've been here. After this, we're going to a cafe, going kayaking, hopefully here in Yomatan, just to kind of reset my mind, my energy. It's been a long couple of weeks, and it's crazy how in reality it's been so much that's been happening, but as you're going through it, time just seems to fly by. And I've told you before, many of us go through those motions of wake up, work, eat, sleep, whatever, and it's just the same motions that we go through. And for me, it's been so many other things outside of the norm of the repeating processes that I'm just blessed to see so many amazing things happening. My team here in the daytime, the development team that I'm a part of and that I'm in charge of, responsible for, doing some amazing things. I witnessed my teammates this past week and our team running a full 1 week course while breaking away at our lunch times and throughout the day to go teach other courses while coaching individuals through their careers while it was throughout the entire week. It's just been so many things that we've been able to do and that we've supported each other. And it reminded me of how important it is to remember that we're not alone on these journeys and no man is an island. That you can't do these things by yourself. You have to have a community to be successful. As the fable goes, or as the quote goes, and if you guys have heard this before, if I paraphrase it, forgive me. But ultimately, alone we go fast, but together we go far. It's the old African proverb. I want to make sure I said it correctly. So alone we go fast, together we go far. And I tell you, I had the opportunity this month. I want to say my thank yous as always in this first segment, but I had the opportunity just now this week to say congratulations to our Lighthouse Beacon Award winners for not only Kadena Air Base, Japan, but also Anderson Air Base in Guam, which we combined this award for both bases. And hopefully next quarter we expand beyond those two bases. But ultimately, what the Lighthouse Beacon Award does is it recognizes people who are doing more than just going to work, that they are stepping out above and beyond to do things for their community, for other people, that they are making sure that they're remembering it's not just about them. We had an old name for this, right, of what kind of a style of leadership this is, but ultimately it's being a beacon of light for your communities, military and civilian. And we had 4 award winners, 48 submissions for this award, which is still amazing to witness and to see and to read. It's so heartwarming to see that. But shout out to the team that made this possible. The team that made this possible is the powerofpositivity.com. I'm looking at my collar. I feel like I'm Elvis right now with the collar so high. I'll fix that at the break. But thank you to the powerofpositivity.com and the leadership there for supporting and sponsoring this event. Thank you to the Napoleon Hill Institute and Miss Erica Kelly for being our guest speaker to kick this whole thing off. Thank you so much to True North and Dr. Yvette Russo for presenting on behalf of True North, and to Team Anderson, Master Sergeant Bradley Franklin for collaborating with me to make sure that we recognize so many more people than we normally do for this award. Last year it was cute when we started. This award was cute, and now it's become something that I'm so proud of, to see it grow and to work with the Zampa Lighthouse here in Yomitan to present these awards. I wish I had one to show you, and I'll probably edit one in later. But to be able to present these awards on behalf of being a beacon of light in this military and civilian community. And you guys know more than I do, if you're in the United States, that we need that now more than ever for people to be beacons of light for others. So thank you and congratulations to everyone who won last week. Thank you for everybody who helped me make that a reality. And I can't wait to see what we do next quarter. And hopefully we make it even bigger than it was this quarter. But I'm so grateful to everyone involved. Going back, Flatter Leadership Academy, talking about coaching. I'm really excited to announce that I am about to take my ACC test. For me, that's going to be where I can actually have those credentials by my name. I've over-exhausted all the requirements probably a year ago. I've been more than ready to take this test, but it's kind of finding the space for it and making sure I accomplish it now. It's one of those goals that I have for this quarter, is to get that knocked out. So shout out to Dr. J.R. Flatter for all of your encouragement, guidance, and leadership, and helping me realize the importance of creating a coaching culture for no matter where I'm at or what I have a responsibility of as a leader, to make sure that that is the culture that's being built in that environment. And I think we're doing a really good job of not only coaching others, but coaching ourselves through everything that we're doing right now. So thank you, sir, for your support, your company support, everyone there at Team Flatter for making sure that I was equipped, tooled, and ready for what's about to happen. So I'm looking forward to see how this plays out. Hopefully I only got to go through it once. I'm seeing a lot of wonderful people get theirs accomplished, and I'm coaching them through it. So I was like, you know what, it's my turn, right? That's Flatter. Trainers Warehouse. Thank you, Trainers Warehouse team. Miss Landay, you already know, none of these things that we do when it comes to our icebreakers, getting the teams together and starting to make sure that communication is flowing, could be possible without your support, encouragement, and tools. So thank you to Trainers Warehouse and for supporting us and making sure that we're able to leave a real true impact on people when it comes to connecting individuals during these sessions that we teach throughout the week. Trainers Warehouse, Flatter Leadership Academy, Talent Smart EQ. I just got a call from or email from Demayas Purdue, said that I'll be representing in one of the, I guess, summits they have, like an Emotional Intelligence Summit coming up this year. Don't have dates yet, so I can't announce it, but I'm really excited about that. Demayas, thanks for the email, the invitation, Talent Smart EQ. Thank you so much for equipping me and tooling me up to be ready for whatever comes next, man, and being able to be a more equipped leader with the tools that you guys teach, provide, and certify us on. And I'm really excited to share more. We kind of just touched the surface on the levels of emotional intelligence people can actually practice and execute, and how it makes them great leaders, how it makes them great people, how it makes them understand themselves better and take care of themselves better so they can take care of others better. One of the things that, well, I'll wait for the second segment, but really one of the things I really wanted to talk about, one of the topics, I kind of want to start from the beginning, like how emotional intelligence starts and where you start and how you focus on the other components throughout. And so I'm going to break that apart over the next couple of weeks. I kind of made a decision to pivot from the way I was originally going to run the show the rest of the year. But I'm going to still keep the same formula. I'm just going to change some of the things I had planned to teach only because I think there's more value added with what's going on in the world right now to make sure that people are being the best version of themselves. And if you're able to be the best version of yourself, no matter where you are, who you are, and what you're responsible for, then you're going to be more than ready to conquer or to overcome anything that happens to you or comes at you. So to strengthen people up, to build you up, which is the point of this show, positive vibes, to build you up, to be able to be a beacon of light for others. That's my goal for the rest of this year. So to help that and to start that, then I'm going to start with the components of emotional intelligence. And again, I'm not going to give what the first component is up until the next segment, right? And I'll talk to you guys about that. Talent Smart EQ, really excited to announce that I finished my Franklin Covey certification. So now I'll be teaching 7 habits of highly effective leaders, speed of trust. And if you guys are familiar with any of these training processes, it's very succinctly, not succinctly, it's very important to pick up, to learn, to fall in love with these concepts and to be connected to it before you go out trying to teach others. So I've really went on a journey with all of the 7 habits concepts because I want to make sure that I'm in love with the material before I call myself being out in the world teaching it. And I try to do that with all of the items that we teach. If I can't embody that myself, I don't really feel comfortable teaching people how to do it. But if you're not familiar, 7 habits for highly effective leaders, we call it 7 habits. Version 5.0 dropped last year, I believe, and I just got certified to teach that. So I'm really excited to start seeing what the audiences look like for 7 habits. And I kind of want to get out there pretty quick, right, and do a 1-part, 2-part, whatever it is to make sure that the communities know how important these concepts are for them, not just based on their work environment, but them as an individual, as a person. Another thing I want to work on, 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes with Winsome if you're tuning in. Another thing I'm really trying to work on is slowing down while I talk and while I teach and while I go through these concepts, because as my teammate will tell you, I want to get to the point where we record these, we have, what do you call that at the bottom, where you can see in English what I'm saying, and then you can see in Japanese what I'm saying. And when I get to that point where I can film it, edit it, have the captions to where in Japan here you can read along or listen along to what I'm saying, that's when my dreams come true. That's the final vision that I have for Positive Vibes Radio Show this year, is to be able to not just deliver it to the people who are listening, but to have a separate site so people can actually go in and see and listen in Japanese and in English and give both options at that time. I'm really excited to get there. I'm actually going to the cafe today to work on that, to see if that can happen sooner than later. So I'm just sharing what I'm grateful for. This is the gratitude segment. So many things that I see for the station, so many things that I see for the segment, so many things that I want to teach and I'm excited about. But I'll tell you, if you're listening, I'm very grateful for you. If you took the time and if you are one of those people who goes online and finds this on YouTube, or if you're driving and you find that time at 10 o'clock to listen to my voice and you're learning English and you just want to see what I'm saying, regardless of what it is, thank you. I'm truly grateful for you, and I hope that you continue this journey as we level up throughout the rest of this year. I'm excited to be with you. I'll be right back after this break. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes with Winsome. I'm so excited to be back on the air with you today. And if you were listening in the first segment, you heard a lot of the things that I want to accomplish with this segment throughout the rest of this year. Having a blessed opportunity to be here on the weekends and having spots throughout the month to be on the American Forces Network means the world to me, because all we're talking about is ways to build yourself up and then be beacons of light and a blessing to others, right? How to encourage you so you can encourage others. And one of the things I used to do last year, there was always a big point of me to say thank you for the team that supports our icebreakers and gets us engaged in our courses, is I used to do the toss around, especially when I have guests. You guys remember Mr. Garrick? He used to be here, and we would throw the ball around. So today, I'm going to start that tradition all over again, right? It's been a few weeks since I've been here, so we're going to get it going again. Today, we're going to throw around, which thumb ball is this? Today, it is the onward and upward thumb ball. Now, if I had a guest in the studio, I would throw it back and forth with them about 3 times. So I'm going to do 3 rounds with myself. The key is I'm going to throw the bad boy up. Wherever my right thumb lands, I have to answer that question. All right, so here we go. First question is, one way I can stay healthy is, oh man, that's a good one for me. One way to stay healthy is paying attention to my fitness. I got a couple of them. I'm just going to throw them all at you. Paying attention to my fitness, meaning how often I work out for myself, take care of my body, what I eat. And that's one thing I'm working on because I like to eat. Yeah, ask anybody that knows me. I like to eat. Usually the same foods, but none of them are really good. What you eat, your rest, how much sleep you get. I've really been focused on that this past year, making sure that I get to bed at a reasonable time, get up early, try to get to the gym early, and eating throughout the day. I can tell you last week, and we always talk about what goes away when you get busy. And I noticed last week, as we got busier with all those classes that I was telling you we were teaching this past week, I went from eating 3-4 times a day to maybe twice a day, right? And so I'm eating breakfast. Cool, I got that in, and then I probably won't eat again until 2 o'clock. I caught myself doing it as we got busy. But it's one thing to catch it, to identify it, and then it's something else to correct it. So what do? Okay, cool. Now I'm going to buy, if I eat dinner or grab something on my way home, I'm going to grab something for tonight, and I'm going to grab something for lunch tomorrow so that I have it. So if I can't leave the building, I have that food accessible to me. So when we talk about things you can do to make sure you stay healthy, it's the 3 most important to me are rest. I realize how important that is. Working out, fitness, I've been really back in that this year. For me personally, I realize how important it is and how that actually benefits your mind and your thought processing. And when you're able to try to put things together, how it's building those neural networks, right? If you start working out in the morning, you get that 16-hour boost through your day. And I feel different if I work out in the morning, then jump into work, versus if I just jump into work and try to find space for the gym throughout the day. It just changes everything. So I try to keep that routine going right now. And it's not easy. Going to bed early and getting up early, it's not easy. And I know if you have family and kids that you have to take care of after work, it's even less easy or even harder for you to do. So I recommend just paying attention to your rest, what you eat, and your fitness level. Are you taking care of your body? Are you taking care of your mind, allowing it to rest? Are you making sure you're paying attention to what you put into your body? And a lot of people don't pay attention to those little things, right, until something happens or something's wrong. And then they start looking at these things. So to answer the first question, what I can do to stay healthy, that's something I would do. Now we're going to do round 2. Bam, round 2, onward and upward thumb ball. Second question is, if you found $5,000, how would you use it? So the question is, if you find $5,000, where were you at, right? But ultimately, man, that's immediately savings if it's mine. If I can say, hey, somebody didn't lose it and it's mine, I'm putting that in savings for a rainy day. That happened for a reason. That's 5 G's. That's needed later on in my life. But that always that question comes and it kind of worries me. Like, where does $5,000 pop from? So that means somebody lost $5,000 if I find it. So I'm going to give round 2 another go, right? Let's get it. So round 2, question 2. You can depend on someone like me too. You can depend on someone like me too. Listen. First and foremost, listen. And I know our work environment, sometimes you have to move, but if people actually say, hey, Winsome, at work they call me Senior, hey, Winsome, I just need you to listen for me real quick. I got you. Yesterday I did this for someone, and I think it really changed the direction of their weekend. Just taking a few minutes to let that person vent, get something off their chest. So you can depend on someone like me, and it's not even my coaching skills. It's really just something I really value, is making sure that someone says they need you to listen, that you're listening, and studying the different listening styles, active listening, mindful listening, all these different ways of making sure that you're paying attention to people and you're listening for not just their story, but you're meeting them where they're at. You're listening for any cues where you can help them, and you're just not stuck in your own head about whatever they came to you with, and you're making sure you understand their perspective, their feelings, their thought processes, and you can connect and engage if they need you to. But just to listen, that is a lost art and a very valuable art to have at any level of not just leadership, friendship, family, but as a person. To be a good listener is valuable. So I've been practicing that, and that's something that I can honestly say I think people can rely on me to do. All right, let's go. Round 3, onward and upward thumb ball. Round 3, let's get it. And for round 3, I got my most important relationships. If you know me, you know that I have a lot of acquaintances. But my friends are my most important relationships. And I consider my family to be my friends. The family that I call family, truly, are my most important relationships. And I don't believe that blood always determines family. I believe that connects you, yes, in one way, but I think the people who show up and become your family are the people who are being family members. And that comes from care, follow-up, communication, love, engagement, time. All those things that those people do to prove that they are truly your family in this story, not just an acquaintance or someone who's a part of one chapter of your life, but that family that no matter where you're at, you can pick up the phone and that person is there and they pick up right where you left off. That to me is family. The person that you stop time for because they mean that much to you, and that they will stop time for you because you mean that much to them. That to me is family. So to answer that question, man, those are the people that mean the most to me, or the folks who I truly consider family. I care about everybody. It's just you can call that a gift and a curse, right? Because I care about everybody. I've learned that everyone has a story, and that story is a miracle in itself. I've learned that everyone is important. There's not one person that's less important than the other. Everyone on this earth that has the gift of life is important. But to me, the most important people are those people that I truly consider and call my family. Not just by blood, but just who they are and what they mean to me. So hopefully I answered that question. So I'll do one more. And wherever this one takes me is going to be where we go for the last 4 minutes of this segment. All right? You ready? Let's get it. All right, so we got the silver lining of a challenging time is the silver lining of a challenging time. And if you're listening in here in Yomatan, what that means is no matter what happens to you, what is something that you can take away from it? What is something that was, okay, that happened, but this is something that I can actually learn from, grow from, or something that was good about this situation, the silver lining. And the silver lining for me is very important, right? The silver lining for a challenging time of mine. I'll think of a recent challenging time. Oh, I got one. Just happened. So my team, last year's team, we had a lot of great things that we did, and I had an opportunity to put us in for awards for everything we did last year. Now, me personally, I don't really care for awards, but it's very important to me to recognize individuals when I can, right? Especially the folks who did the hard work. So when I flew back in, I learned that my dates were mixed up, right? I thought that I had until a certain day to do this, but however, the time had elapsed while I was in the United States. So I'm asking for an extension, and that meant I had to come in, and I want you to hear me. I flew in from the United States, came to the office the very next morning, right? I spent 10 hours, if not more, on these packages to make sure that I captured everything. I didn't miss anything. I'm using everything I can, pulling from documents from last year, looking through emails to make sure I didn't miss 10 plus hours to make sure I submitted because I was given an extension and I value that. Went through the week, found out last night via email and phone call that it wasn't even considered. That wasn't even considered. All the work, that 10 plus hours didn't even get looked at. It was like, nah, we're not doing it. And it moved. And I'm like, oh, at first it was soul crushing. I'll tell you, it sat with me for a good few minutes. And then I realized a couple of things. My team now and then, we didn't do it for the awards. We did it for the people. So we did right. We did some wonderful things. I pulled that away from reviewing the packages as I wrote them and things that we did and the bullets and the story that we had and the character that my people have. It was just amazing to see it. The silver lining was that even though it wasn't pushed to the next level, we're not competing at the next level, that we did some amazing things, that I got to actually relive and remind myself how amazing my team is, how great these people are individually and together, what we've been able to do for our community locally and abroad. So, yeah, it sucked. It really did. It really bothered me for a few minutes. And then I pulled back and I said, okay, but wait a minute. What did you learn? I learned to check and double check dates, right? Especially when I have so many events going on. We're in night school, went to the U.S., came back, bam. Oh, man, that's something that fell under the radar. However, what I also learned is how wonderful. It reminded me and renewed my gratitude for the team I had last year and for the team I have this year. And it also reminded me of what we did versus what we're doing and what we can do. And once I took that perspective and understood, hey, man, we're not here for awards. 1, 2, everything you're doing is a level up from what you were doing last year. Not just with the numbers, but the environment, but your energy, but your courses. Everything we've built is stronger, more powerful, and greater, so we're growing. And to me, that was the silver lining. Yeah, it really did suck, the situation, but there was a few silver linings that I'm even sticking with this morning that I don't feel bad about it as I did when I first got the news. We'll be right back. .6 FM, positive vibes with Winston. Hey, it's good to be back, man. I'm really, it feels kind of like riding the bike all over again, right? It's been a few weeks, haven't been on the air, but now I'm back, and it's just really cool to be able to be back in this groove and back in the booth. We were talking about last segment. I went through the Thumb Ball Trainers Warehouse, answered a couple of questions just to get the segment flowing. One of the things I mentioned in the first segment is that I really kind of wanted to refocus our subjects when it came to the rest of this year. And I realized that there are a lot of topics and a lot of subjects that I haven't covered. And I want to really teach it because we teach it in the classroom and we have to teach it a certain way based on our community. But I really want to take a lot of time this year, the rest of this year, to share that information in a different way for the community and the people who are listening to this show. There's a reason why I'm doing this, and it's not because it's self-soothing or it's for my ego. I realize that the information that is usually shared in these books and in these classes and in these slides are so powerful, or is so powerful, that it would truly enrich, encourage, and inspire individuals to develop themselves personally and professionally. If I can give that back this year, if I can do that the right way this year, then really it's not about how did the show do. It's about, did the information get out there? Did I find a way to deliver it in a way that people could receive it? They can grow, they can learn, they can be the best version of themselves. They can be there for other people. They can apply these things. And that's really what we want. I was talking to one of my teammates this week, and one of the coolest things about his session, and he was talking about, I believe, testing and studying, right? And I sat in the back for like the last couple of minutes, but I saw the energy and how people were smiling and they were engaged. And I was like, yo, people are really feeling this class. And then to see people going outside excited from his class, like really talking about, hey, I want to test right now. And I had to tell him, I was like, hey, man, I'm always proud of you. But the energy that these people have right now leaving your classroom is amazing. It's notable because that is what we dream of as facilitators. That's what we dream of as teachers, is that when people leave, they were excited about what they just learned, what they just heard, what just happened, and they want to apply these things immediately upon leaving. And so for me to witness that, one of my teammates, was a very heartwarming experience for me. And I want to share that here. I want to share that as we do the videos. I want to share that as we do the radio segment. I want to make this worth that person's time. And I'm not about viral moments, viral clips. I'm not in the business of trying to be popular or famous doing this. I know if I can reach one person, that's out there and has been and trying to navigate any of these things, that I'm able to help them while they're on the road or on YouTube, or they're on watching this video later in life and they check it out and they're like, wow, I wish I would have known that as I was navigating. I'm glad I heard that because I needed that. If I can achieve that and take care of that one person that needed to hear it, that needed to get that information, then I feel like that I've accomplished my job, my mission. Shout out to Derek for the class you taught this week, that I got to witness the excitement, because it encouraged me again and reminded me of why we do what we do. It's because of that feeling that I saw in others, that spark that they had based on whatever and however you taught that lesson. You left them with a spark that made them want to be better. They felt encouraged. And if you guys don't know, our tagline is educate, encourage, and inspire. And every one of those people sounded like you met the mark. You educated them. You gave them what they needed. You encouraged them. They felt like they can accomplish anything. And you inspired them. You inspired them to want to walk out that door and apply everything that you had taught them. So by being not just what we say we are, but being who we say we are, I think it's an amazing thing to witness. It doesn't always have to be me. And that's been the most heartwarming part of this journey, is that I haven't been around to create many versions of me. Is being able to create other leaders who are doing amazing things. You don't want to create another version of you. You don't want to create a mini you. You want to create future leaders. You want more leaders doing great things, because the impact is greater. The impact is stronger. It's more people being affected and impacted, not just the group that one person is trying to reach. And it's going in multiple different directions now, and I couldn't be prouder. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winston, the first topic that I'm going to talk about, and we'll reach on it and dig deep into it next week, is self-awareness. And I will tell you that there are a lot of people who think they're self-aware, but based on everything I've studied and a lot of the mentors that I've been speaking to, a lot of these industry leaders that I've been networking with to really put this together, there's a lot of people that think they're self-aware and they're not. There's a lot of individuals that are very introspective and they approach it a certain way, but they're missing pieces and key components to self-awareness. No, I say it's important that we teach self-awareness and we start there because I know even for the class emotional intelligence in any aspect of learning this, I've learned that self-awareness is the very first step of emotional intelligence. Why would you say that's important, Winston? Because emotional intelligence branches out into so many different aspects of leadership. So if I can focus in on self-awareness, if I can be a self-aware leader, if I can be a self-aware husband, if I can be a self-aware brother, if I can be a self-aware dad, I mean, think about this. Across any spectrum, being self-aware benefits the relationships that you have with others. Because it's not just about what you see in yourself, but it's about how others see you too, and how you put that information together to be the best version of you that other people need of you. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to dig deep into it, but I want to tell you, it's very important that we start there. Now, if you guys aren't tracking emotional intelligence has four main components that we teach on right now. And the first one is self-awareness, then it's self-management, then it's social awareness, and then it's relationship management. The key to all of that is, as you get into emotional intelligence, is the very last component, which is relationship management. You can't do that if you're not good at the first three. So if you're not good at self-awareness, or you haven't really mastered that, and you're not good at self-management and social awareness, then there's no way that you're going to be truly good at navigating relationships, relationship management. And then on top of bridging those four, right, you have all of these aspects of leadership that I'm going to cover down with you next week, and I'm going to share with you because it's very important that you understand. And a lot of people think leadership and they think about jobs, CEOs, bosses. No, it's leadership in anything that you do in life and being a leader in everywhere in anything that you have your hands in. Are you leading? The world has enough followers. We need more leaders. So when you understand how self-awareness bridges all of these different leadership traits, you're going to be like, wow, teach me. I promise. If you don't leave out of that segment saying, hey, teach me more, then I failed you. And that's truly where I'm trying to get to when it comes to self-awareness. Another topic that I really want to dig into right after self-awareness and the other, of course, elements is mindfulness, which is actually another component of emotional intelligence. And I've tried to teach this in the past, but I'm going to teach it in a way now that it's not just community friendly, network friendly, and radio friendly, but it's, again, I want people to be able to apply these things, not just hear them. And that's the real true journey, and the true test is, how do you teach it in a way that people feel after hearing it, they can walk out the door and apply it? That's the true test. And if I can teach that way, and if I can get there, and I'm going to try next week, again, with self-awareness first, but if I can get there with mindfulness and being present and being in the moment, not worried about what's in front of you or what's behind you, if I can get you there, then truly we started off the right way. So I'm going to start with self-awareness. I'm going to make sure that anyone listening understands the different ways to be aware of who you are, to be aware of how other people see you, to be aware of why those things are important in everything that you do. And I'm going to break down as we go through that, how that affects all the different areas and some different aspects of leadership. So I ask you, and I asked the young man yesterday, man, he was in my office, and I was like, who are you? And first thing he said, he looks up at me, he says, I'm a champion. And I love this answer because he's going through pain and he's fighting back in his life. And I said, okay, I hear you, champion, but I want you to tell me what makes you a champion. And the young man sat there, and I don't think he'd ever heard that question before. What makes you a champion? Because I'm not here listening to you to try to break you down or try to convince you otherwise. I just want to hear what the components are that you say make you a champion. And so he began. He said, I've overcome my hardest challenges in life. He said, I get up even when I don't want to. He said, I've survived my worst days. And he said 3 or 4 different things. And I just sat there and I'm watching him. And as he's saying these things out loud, probably for the first time, there's tears coming out of his eyes. And he's crying like after every sentence. And then he pauses and he goes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for crying. I said, brother, there's no apologizing here. There's no apologizing in this. Every one of those tears means something. Every one of those tears is telling a story. Everything that you've been holding in, everything that you haven't been accepting as the reality in your life, I want you to see this is who you are. I need you to tell yourself, I need you to believe it. Because you came in here like a wounded animal. And you are human. So being that you felt wounded, that you're trying to heal and that you're trying to navigate these things, I need you to remember who you are. And a lot of these things, a lot of people, and I'm just going to be 100% with you, it might be seasonal. I've seen a lot of people with relationship issues recently. Coming into the office, beaten up because a relationship that they've been in, a relationship they've been in for about 2 years or even sometime more than that has come to an end or is coming to an end. And I don't know if you realize as much as I do or if you've ever experienced this, but when you're in a long-term relationship, you give a lot of you to that relationship. And when I say you give a lot of you, when you're spending all of this time with people, you guys start meeting each other in different places and areas of your life to where you start giving up parts of your identity that made you up to that point to make it the relationship identity. So imagine that you've become someone different to make this relationship strong, last, and what you think is solid. And then during this relationship, things happen to where the relationship goes away. So that person you have become for that relationship doesn't have that same sense of purpose, doesn't have that same love for themselves. And that's exactly what he said yesterday. He said, every time I try to fall in love with something, it's like there's something missing. It's because I'm trying to fill a void of the love that we created in a relationship. And that relationship no longer exists. So now I'm trying to find me all over again. Yes. Yes, you are. You are trying to find you all over again. And not the same version of you that you were. Not the same person that you were, but the person that you want to be. And that's where the conversation went. And I'm sharing this with you because when you are aware, which you're going to dig into self-awareness next week, but when you are aware of how you feel, when you are aware of what you're going through, what you're navigating, who you want to be, what you want your ID to be, your identity, you as a person, what you want your life to be like, what you want your goals to be, when you realign. And I'm going to tell you, when you're coming out of relationships, coming out of jobs, there's people getting laid off right now. There's people going through some crazy stuff. When you have this and you think this is your identity and it goes away, there's a struggle. I'll be right back. 78.6 FM Yomaton, 78.6 FM Yomaton, positive vibes with Winsome. We're back on the air, and we're talking about self-awareness, being self-aware, relationships, how things change, and how you have to find who you are and figure those things out all over again. And a lot of people, like the conversation I had yesterday, they lose a lot of themselves. And when they're trying to recover, it feels like something's missing. No matter if there was something they used to love to do, they may struggle to get that same feeling back. It takes time, because when you're healing, you feel pain, and it's not easy to do the things that you used to enjoy doing, especially when they remind you of certain people or certain memories or things of that nature, right? So based on that, and based on individuals needing to heal, need to recover, need to grow out of that pain or get through that pain, I told the young man yesterday, I said, I want you to tell me, what is it that brings you joy? Give it to me. What is it that brings you joy? And he started talking about, he said, I like to dance. I do X dancing, talking about what kind of dancing he does 3-4 times a week. So I like to do martial arts. He talks about the martial arts he likes to do. I said, okay, cool. So these things bring you joy. He said, yeah, they always have. Cool. And are you doing these things? Yeah, 3-4 times a week, 3 times a week here. I said, cool. What else? You know, because I know there's other times, there's other space, because when you're living in it, you're going to be living in pain. So what else are you doing to remind yourself and provide yourself with all of these things, empower yourself, with these things that bring you joy? And he said, I hadn't thought about that. What's a show that makes you smile? And I made him think about that for a second. I said, what's a movie that brings you joy, that's always made you happy? And stay away from things that remind you of that person that's bringing you pain. No, I need you to go different. Or that situation is bringing you pain. I need you to get away from there. I need you to go to things that you know have always been able to bring a smile to your face. And if it's not a thing, a movie, a show, a podcast, who's a person that when you connect with this person, they always bring you up, they always bring you joy, they always make you smile? Who is that person in your life? And if you know who it is, you reach out to them right now. And you tell them, I need you. I just need you to make me laugh real quick. I just need you to listen to me. I just need you to give me some good news. Because when you do that, and it's okay to feel, it's okay to navigate pain, it's okay to go through things, but you don't need to live in it. I heard a teammate that was speaking to one of my audiences the other day said, sometimes when you fall, you need to stay down. And he said that really hit him when he heard that, because he was in the room. He said, I heard her say, fall and stay down. I said, yeah, sometimes you got to take a knee. You need to evaluate what you're feeling. You need to understand what you're going through. You need to pay attention to what just happened. You need to identify what just happened to you. And a lot of people talk about bouncing back and getting right back to where they were, standing up where they were. No, you want to move forward. You want to navigate through these emotions and be in a better place on the other end of that emotion. And I told him my line when he said that really hit him, when he said taking a knee, staying down for a second, reflecting on what just happened, navigating through the emotions. Yes, because I know you can move, but can you be still? And he was like, whoa, oh yeah, I can use that for a lot of different things. But in this situation, yes, you need sometimes to take a knee. You need sometimes to take a breather. You need sometimes to call time out. You need sometimes to start over and say, hold up, what I just did, what I just navigated, and how I just approached this part of my life, I just got hit in the head. And I need to see why. Have you ever seen somebody break a dish, drop a glass, because they left the glass at the edge of the table? Then you bump it and it falls off? How likely is that person to continue putting the glass at the edge of the table if they realize that the reason this glass fell is because it was too close to the edge? Think about these things that happen in your life when you realize that the pain you feel was based on this action or this decision. You're not going to make that decision anymore because you don't want to feel that pain anymore. But you won't know that unless you pause, stop, and understand what it was that made you feel the pain. What decisions led into it? What actions can you take so that you don't have to go through that again? And I share this with a lot of people when we're teaching some lessons on bass. And I say, when you're able to see it, when you can tell the story, when you can navigate it, when you understand it, when you truly understand what it is that you just overcame, when you get to the other side of it, when you become a better person from it, and when you're stronger from the experience, then and only then can you stand up not just for yourself, but for others who are experiencing similar pains. Because we go through this life and we think it's just about us, our movie, our story, and what we're going through. But no, when we start realizing how important connections are, and we start realizing that our stories and things that happen in life are for a reason, when you realize there's someone that's going through similar storylines as you and that needs you. And it may not just be in the form of conversation. You surviving these things and going through it might be a sign, a wake-up call from them, or inspiration for that person to say, if he or she can do it, I can too. And when you're telling your story, when you're living your story, remember, there's always someone watching. Always someone watching. Last question I asked him, when you look at yourself in the mirror, what do you see? When I asked him, what makes you a champion? The last question I asked, what are you going to do next? Man, who's asking these questions? You are, and you're answering them. What am I going to do next? It's not about what just happened to me. It's about where I'm going to be a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, and really owning that. Because if you can say it, if you can write it down, if you can believe in that vision, that goal that you have for yourself, then you can fight for it. But you'll never have it, you'll never achieve it, and you'll never be it if you don't take those first steps to have it. And when it came to his storyline and when the things he was sharing with me, which I won't share, that he wants to do next, it was empowering for him just to say it for the first time. He lit up. I will share, he talked about education and he lit up. It was the first time in this conversation I saw him light up, like sat up a little bit. And I was like, you see how you feel right now? That's because you put a vision, you put a thought, and you put energy into something you see for yourself in the future. Not something you're chasing and running after, but something that you want for yourself and that gives you life. So I challenge you, if you're going through something and you're navigating through emotions right now, you're trying to get to the other side, ask yourself some of those questions that I asked my teammate yesterday. When you look in the mirror, what is it you see? Say something powerful. Say something that brings you life. Say something that you know is wonderful about you. And then when you say that word or when you say that phrase, tell me what it is that makes you that. My man said, I'm a champion because I've overcome my worst days, because I've survived when other people told me I wouldn't. And he just started going on into it, and he just felt empowered. And then the last question, what are you going to do next? Own it, see it, want it, believe it, and make it a reality for yourself. And remember, none of these things can happen because someone else wants it and wills it for you. These things happen because you want it, you own it, and you fight for it. And it's not until you fight for your future, you fight for your tomorrow, that things start happening for you. Because the more energy you put into being the best version of you and to reach those goals, to have those things, the more that things start happening for you. Not because you willed it into existence, but because you worked for it. And it won't start until you believe it. You write it down. You have a plan. You take steps. One step at a time. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. I'll see you next week. Peace.